Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar. We're going to talk about this book right here. You can read that. FUBAR, American History Z. I recorded this originally this morning, and I didn't like the way it turned out. So I decided, hey, I'd re-record it when I got off from work. I didn't expect it to be this gray, overcast, late afternoon thing. Like, I expected to have some actual sunlight so you could see better, but whatevs. So here we are. I decided to kind of structure my review a little bit. Like, I'm going to try this out, see how it goes. So we're going to hit themes, likes, dislikes, and then the fourth thing is do I really like it or not? Fortunately, themes is really easy. It's a zombie fiction anthology. What do you think the theme is? It's people dying horribly. In this case, it's set. We're just going to flip through at random places. It's set in all periods of American history. So we go way in the past to the very beginning. Vikings. And that's actually a pretty good story. To at the end. Come on. President Obama as a zombie. For whatever reason, I didn't really like that story. So, the theme's easy. People... Oh, let's pull back so you can see my hand. People getting eaten, scared, people not believing other people when they talk about the zombies. That occurred 3 or 4 times in here, I think. Lampooning figures, like historical figures, political figures, that also shows up. And generally just kind of blood and gore. It's an anthology book, so some of the stories are really good. There's a couple great ones. The Viking one is okay. I'm not going to say something like it's a great story, but it also has this great ending where this guy's like, hey, put our warriors back to rest, and the witch doctor's like, lay them to rest? The beginning of the end. I really appreciated that. And we go through colonial times. This is a really... Oh, sorry, we're still looking at the Viking stuff. A story about the Roanoke colony, Virginia Dare. That was a great story. And there's some stuff in this I don't like. Like, this is whole, this is the one about the Pilgrims and the First Thanksgiving. This is completely unnecessary what they did in there, and I didn't like it at all. Virginia Dare, this is a really sad story. You can see, look at that guy's face. The art in some of these stories is really good. I really like the art in this one. Some of them, this one looks like, it's just like I went straight to Sharpie for my art style, although it's a very good story. It covers a story from most major periods of American history. So, colonial days, Revolutionary War, War of 1812, the Mexican-American War. Actually, I guess it's specifically the Alamo, which is a little bit before the Mexican-American War. And I like that diverse look through American history. The writing on some of these stories is really good. There's a couple Chuck Dixon stories in here. You really should give people a table of contents. There's no table of contents. There should be a table of contents. This is an anthology. You should tell people, you can find this story on this page. Oh, this binding is not really bound. It's not supposed to come back that far. It's probably supposed to stay kind of sprung, but whatever. That didn't happen here, obviously. And so things I like, some of the art is really great. Some of the stories are really great. They're just terrible. Things I didn't like. It's an anthology. Some of the art isn't so great. Hold on. Like this one. I don't think this art style serves the genre it's going for, which is like a mobster story with zombies. It just doesn't work. Some of the art is super sketchy. Some of it is super fiddly. This is the best example. Okay. This is the best example of the art I didn't like. So I really like this story. This was a great story. And the art. Wow, book. I mean, there's no way I would know that that's the Earp Brothers and Doc Holliday if you didn't tell me. They They don't look like people. They're way too much like cartoon caricatures. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I would have liked something a little more realistic. Like this art here from this Bowery Boys story is pretty good. It's not like super professional, I'm doing art for Marvel, but it's really good. Eric Spone, I'm guessing. Good job. So the quality varies. I think there were 3, maybe 4 stories I really liked in here. The 2 with astronauts I loved. They were highlights. And the one about Valley Forge was also just fantastic. Oh, this is a really dark story. I can't say I actually liked it, but I liked it, if you know what I mean. Like, I never want to read it again. Yeah, here, Valley Forge. This is probably my favorite story out of the book, followed very closely by the 2 astronaut stories. I got my window open if you hear weird background noises. Having said that, there's some peeves in all these stories. In one of the astronaut stories, let's zoom out. There we go. In one of the astronaut stories, it basically shows they faked the moon landing. I didn't like that. That's a complete disrespect to the work of all those people. Like, if Buzz Aldrin finds you and you say, you faked the moon landing, he'll just punch you. Like, he'll just straight up punch you. You've offended his honor, and I'm a little offended for him. There's a story with Thomas Edison in here. It's actually a pretty interesting action piece. Like, the art in it is good. It's very solid. But Thomas Edison swears like a sailor. I don't think Thomas Edison swore like a sailor. People have always sworn. They've always had foul mouths. It's true, but it's like, that seems a little too disrespectful. There's a story in here about the Spanish-American War. And it basically says that, hey, the work that the Rough Riders and all the other American soldiers did was basically for nothing because zombies showed up, and that's why there was no resistance. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that that is a little too disrespectful. The Obama thing. Like, I don't care what side of the political... just slapped the book is really hard to hold open here. It's too thick. Like, I didn't like any of this. And it's not because... I wouldn't like to see any president portrayed like this out in front of people. Like, I know this is a political lampoon, and it's really... the whole thing is a build-up to a one-panel joke, which I'm going to spoil for you. Right there at the end. Well... oh, that looks kind of blurry. Well, it's better than 4 more years of Bush. Like, that, the whole thing is just like a build-up to a Bush joke. Dude, that was like outdated in 2004. Like, that joke is dead. Other things I didn't like, there's 2 reprinted stories in here. This is from FUBAR Declassified. They had a pretty good story, but it was from another book. And then there's one about the Kennedy assassination that is also a reprint. Oh, here's the astronaut. Here's one of the astronaut stories. This is great. This is great stuff. I actually think I would have really liked a whole book about nothing but astronaut zombies. Yeah, here's the Kennedy one. Like, this is also a reprint from FUBAR Declassified. I bet if I looked, maybe there's another one. I do have one problem with the gym. Yeah, this is the one where they faked the moon landing at the end. Why is Peter Lorre working for NASA? Seriously, look at that. Let's zoom in until he's all blurry. And my hand's shaking. That's Peter Lorre. Why is he working for NASA? In fact, this astronaut over here looks like Peter Lorre. Like, does everybody look like Peter Lorre in here? I mean, look, it's Peter Lorre. That's a really worried Peter Lorre that's lost some weight. Like, is this just your style? Everybody looks like Peter Lorre? Having said that, it's a really great story. Look at this. Oh, my God. Look, this is an awesome story. The writing mostly is pretty darn strong in here. There's some great stories like this one about a veteran from World War I. He's working at a munitions factory in World War II, and zombies show up. Like, there's some great stuff like that. This is that mobster story with zombies. A labor strike story where the zombies take the gerbs. which I don't really understand. If the zombies are smart enough to do that... There we go. If the zombies are smart enough to take people's jobs, then I don't see why they only eat people. Oh, geez, look, I broke the glue right there. Holding the book open. Fortunately, that's the midpoint, so that's a natural place to get a crease. World War I story here. I'm just trying to find... There was one about the Civil War. Yeah, here it is. And I kind of like this because it's not like any of the other stories in the book. It's told in the form of Civil War letters. Granted, it's trying to make me feel sorry for Sherman and his men, and that's probably not going to happen because they burned down a city. They committed actual, honest-to-God war crime. But I really like that. It's like, here's the letter he wrote home, and then here's the imagery to accompany it. It's a really nice change of pace from the way all the stories are constructed here. It's a very bold kind of move. Ashes and smoke. I totally dug it. There's multiple Civil War stories in here. Some are better than others. There's one about the Mormons, Harriet Tubman. This is a great panel right here. I was tapping just in case you didn't get it. And there's one story that is not just disrespectful. I find it just like straight up abhorrent. And it's this one. And if you don't know why, let's see. Where does it say? Oh, it doesn't actually say on the front page, does it? Anyway, it's about the Donner Party. You didn't have to... This one is just way, way too dark. It's brutally dark. Like, the Donner Party story is already bad enough, and you throw in, oh, they're escaping from zombies. Like, it's a bit much. It is a bit much. So that was things I didn't like. Some of the writing, the political jabs. There's one story about Woodstock, and the whole thing is just a run-up to this hippie guy doesn't like Ronald Reagan. And it's really a shame, because that's actually a pretty cool story. Oh, I got to find that. Let's see. Yeah, Chuck Dixon wrote one or two of the stories in here. Those are both really well written. Now, this is World War II. We got to go in the future. Here's Korea. This is a great starting page. The frozen dudes. That's insane. Let's see. Kennedy. Woodstock must be right after the space stuff. Yeah, here we go. I love this panel. And then the inset. Like, this is just great. Jimi Hendrix hypnotizing zombies. Although I do gotta wonder where a bunch of peaceful hippies got all these rifles that they're using to fight zombies with. I don't know either. Anyway, you guys have a great day. This went on a little longer than I thought it would. The reprints kind of hurt, man. Like, this is $17, 400 pages. I don't know if that's all comics or how many of them are just these little art pages in the back from like Kickstarter backers. But they're there. That's actually a pretty cool picture. It's funny, I'm talking about like disrespecting historical figures, and then I'm like, ooh, that picture of George Washington's zombie is pretty cool. The Valley Forge story is really great. That was like the first best thing in the book. And I kept waiting for something that good to show up again. And it took until in my opinion anyway. I mean, this is all opinion, right? So would I buy it again? Yeah, I'd buy it again. I probably liked half of the book. I really liked like 3 or 4 of the stories. And the other ones are mostly meh with 1 or 2 like eggs. I think that's kind of about what you'd expect from any kind of fiction anthology. So if you're into zombies, definitely check it out. In my case, I think I've read too much zombie stuff lately because I just read the other week FUBAR Empire of the Rising Dead and then FUBAR Declassified. So maybe I'm zombied out and that affected my appreciation of the book. But if zombies are your thing, you definitely want this. If zombies aren't your thing, they're not really my thing, you may want to steer clear or borrow it from a friend, you know? If you happen to know me, which none of you do, but if you did, you could totally borrow this. I'll see you guys next time. You have a great day. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, bye-bye. Oh my gosh, this went for 15 minutes. You believe it?